Okay, thank you very much for joining this presentation, this webinar. We are here to present you the second Grow and Harvest call. It will be the last call in the framework of the Metabuilding project. First, I would like to give you some information about the project itself, what it does beside the calls and the calls as well. The calls, as you see on this slide, we have two different types of call. We have the seed calls and the grow and harvest call. Unfortunately, the seed calls are already over. The second seed call has been finalized at the end of January, and we will have the results now by the end of March. So the only thing that is left now to come is the second grow and harvest call. The Grow and Harvest Call is funding projects that are collaborative projects between at least two SMEs from two different sectors and two different countries. What we pay are developments of new technologies or solutions from TRL 3 to 5. You find also, if you're not familiar with the TRL scale, you find some more information about the TRL scale in the applicant guide for the Grow and Harvest call, where it's explained what this means. And then we have another type of projects, which are harvest projects, which aim on technology transfer from other sectors or from other countries, and which are situated at a higher TRL level, so technology readiness level that is closer to the market, which is from TRL 6 to TRL 9. The projects receive a funding per project of a maximum of 60,000 euros, and they cover a period of 6 months. They are projects of duration of 6 months. The money goes to SMEs only, but the consortium of SMEs can be completed by a large enterprise or an RTO that is not receiving financing by the grant. So they are like additional consortium members that can come and participate and collaborate with these SMEs, but they won't receive direct funding from the project. The Metabuilding project aims as well at other things. It's not only financing and giving financial support to SMEs to do innovation. The project aims as well at launching national innovation ecosystems, where SMEs are obviously a part of, but where we try to bring together all innovation actors of a country in order to work together. This will be done as well, or especially through a platform, which is called the Metabuilding Platform, which is the backbone of this innovation ecosystem at European level, and where these innovation actors from the different countries can sign up. We will launch a sign-up campaign very shortly, probably in mid-April, and if you're interested, you are welcome to join the ecosystem and become a registered user of the Metabuilding platform. This platform offers other different tools for innovation, which are, for example, a tool that is called Access Innovation Funding, where you find actually the funding we are talking about right now that will be distributed in the calls. You can but also information about funding opportunities in the different target countries of the Metabuilding project, which are Austria, Italy, France, Portugal, Spain, and I'm missing one, and Hungary. There you can find information about funding respecting to these different countries. Furthermore, you have like a repository where you can find innovative technologies coming from different European projects that are not brought to the market yet, and that you can take in quotation mark. Of course, you need to negotiate that with the owner of this technology, and where you could build your project upon. This is especially helpful for the projects that are harvest projects, where exactly this is the idea, that you see what technologies are out there and can profit to build on this existing technology your project and go further and bring this technology to the market. Furthermore, we have another module on the platform, which is the Find a Partner module. It helps you to find another SME consortium member from another sector or from another country and/or. This is very important. If you don't have already your consortium set up, don't hesitate to put your partner request or offer in the module so that other people can see you and find you. This will also be the basis to launch a partnering event, because we ask you to provide there some small description of your partner request that you can then also present in a partnering event where you do a pitch of your partner request or of your offer of expertise, so that others can hear you and then will be able to contact you and build up a collaborative project together with you. And we have as well a next model, which is called Get Innovation Support. The Get Innovation Support model is actually here to find so-called innovation stakeholders, which are innovation experts, either technological innovation expert, IP experts, or market experts, that you can integrate in your in your proposal, that may help you to implement your project if you need help from innovation experts. They have signed a charter, and they have a person that is dedicated in contacting or being contacted by SMEs that are interested in receiving help. And last but not least, you have also a module that will come up later on, which is developed in another project, which is called Test Your Innovation, and which will give you in the future access to testing services and testing facilities in the framework of an open innovation testbed that is being developed in the project Metabuilding Labs. So I have already talked about these modules. This will come up probably next year. This will be ready, and it will help you as well to test then your innovations and bring them to the market, to test them in a lab environment, in real environments, and also to test them with users, end users. So now a little more information to the Grow and Harvest call itself. It has main target groups and main countries. The main countries I have mentioned already are the 6 that are mentioned here below. And then it's targeting, the call is targeting on different sectors, of bringing together different sectors. What do we aim at? We want to bring innovation to the construction sector through the collaboration with others, as we think more innovative sectors, which are additive manufacturing, nature-based solution, digitalization or ICT, and circularity and recycling. So your collaborative projects should focus on a collaboration between sectors and between countries. We looked at this a little more closely. So in this Grow and Harvest call, I said already, it's 2 types of project, grow or harvest, with the different level of technology readiness. We will finance a total of 24 projects for up to 60,000 euros per project, and we will cover 100% of the cost. As you know, in European projects, this is not necessarily normal for companies, but here really you get a refund of 100% of the cost of the project. It will, if you are successful, you will get an upfront payment of 50% at the beginning of the project, and a final payment of 50% at the end of the project after having delivered a project report. As I said, the duration is of 6 months. And now I'm coming back to the service provider. So for those of you who might need help in implementing such a project, you have the chance to get help by a service provider. And up to 75% of this maximum grant amount of 60,000 euros can be spent for getting help from a identified innovation service provider and a so-called innovation stakeholder. Usually these are research organizations or universities. You have them identified innovation stakeholders that are accredited by each country, and you can find them in the module I have talked about before on the Metabuilding platform. Please note as well that these entities need to be independent and can't have an affiliation to the applicants. So this we wouldn't tolerate. So we check on this when you send in the application. I have talked a little about the TRL scale. I won't go into detail, but on the website and also in this presentation that you will have on your disposal in the Metabuilding platform, you can see some examples on what we call the different levels of TRL, technology readiness level, and where you also see what should be the end goal of each level. So for example, here you should have a concept that is proved through experiment. And here you see the different activities that we would finance in your project. Please have in mind these are just examples. Everything else that falls into such a category may be eligible as well. But this is to give you some ideas on what we are looking for. Here a summary of the same about the different levels in TRL from 3 to 5 or 6 to 9, where it's very close to the market. And with the indicated outcomes per TRL level, what we are looking for. I go on with my explanation. Here you see as well how this will be financed. The money is actually coming from the European Commission, is going through a cascade funding mechanism, as we call it, to the Metabuilding project. And from here, it's distributed also in a cascade funding mechanisms to you, the SMEs that want to do innovation. And yeah, once again, you have the different outcomes of a grow project or a harvest project. As you have heard at the beginning, I was telling you that these projects need to look on cross-sectoral collaboration. What type of cross-sectoral collaboration we are looking at, you will see in the different challenges. We have 4 different challenges, always grouping the construction sector and one of the other sectors. And for this, we have formalized some challenges. You find more in-depth information as well on the Metabuilding platform, where we have A4 double-sided A4 recto verso with the challenge description, and where you can see what we are looking for. There we also give examples what we would like to have in these different projects. Again, it's examples. If you do something else that falls under the same scope into the challenge or a topic, this is fine as well. So we have a circular challenge, as we call it, where we have 2 different topics. One is new recycled building and or urban infrastructure materials. And the other topic is digital solutions for the circularity approach in the construction sector. Then we have another challenge, which is called the ICT challenge. There as well, we have 2 topics. One is on monitoring and managing energy consumption, comfort, and health performance in building. And the other one is on new BIM and digital tools for SMEs. The third challenge would be the nature-based solution challenge. It has equally 2 topics. It's nature-based solution system solutions for renovation, and it's digitization of care maintenance, and monitoring for nature-based solution. And last but not least, the fourth challenge, which is the additive manufacturing challenge. Here the topics are waste reuse through integration into large 3D printing processes for the construction sector, and the integration of new functionalities in construction components by means of 3D printing. Once again, the challenges in detail you find on the Metabuilding platform, where you can read this through in one A4 page, double-sided, and where you can get all the details on the challenge and why we are doing it, the motivation for the challenge, and the expected outcomes. Your projects will be evaluated into three criteria. The general focus that is the most important is that we want you to bring innovation to the construction sector. So this we also can see in the criteria weight. The most important is the impact. We are looking actually on the impact of this new solution for the construction sector. But we are also looking on excellence and on implementation. You can look this through as well in detail, but this is how we will be evaluating your projects. What is important to know and to keep in mind when submitting a proposal? Please have in mind that equipment costs are not eligible. Why? Because the Commission is only paying usually depreciation on equipments, and as the projects are only have a duration of 6 months, there would be nearly nothing that you would get paid for depreciation. Have also in mind that we don't want you or that you submit projects that are only done by innovation stakeholders. We want, and the Commission wants, that really the SMEs are working together, that they collaborate. And this means that at least 25% of the budget must be spent and used by the SMEs themselves to cover their own implementation costs. As I said before, 75% can go to an innovation stakeholder, so a service provider that you can find in this tool that is called Get Innovation Support. It's not a must. If you can do it on your own, that's fine as well. That's perfect. But if you need help, you can get help from one of these innovation stakeholders. And of course, it's up to you how much of a service you want from them. So you don't need to spend 75%, but you can spend up to 75%. Please ask them to send you a quotation without VAT included, because you will pay them with European money, and this money is not subject to value-added tax. So this will increase the budget you have in your hand in order to get a service, and you don't waste it on taxes. Large enterprise, as I said before already, they can't receive funding. This is a INOSUP program that is executed through ISMEA. ISMEA is the executive agency for SMEs. So they want to finance SMEs for doing innovation. So they don't receive, so large enterprises can't receive financing, but if they come with their own financing, they can participate in a project as a consortium partner. You can also hand in bigger projects where you only ask for a part of the project to be paid by the Metabuilding grant by the 60K. Why we do that? Because we like companies that have a bigger aspiration, that want to go further, but we can't, of course, pay you everything because we have a limited amount of money. But don't hesitate to hand in projects that are maybe bigger and that you want only to get paid a part of them. In case you do that, of course, you need to make sure that it's clear which is the part that will be paid with Metabuilding money and which is the part that will be paid by yourself or with another financing that you might get from somewhere else. Further points of vigilance and frequently asked questions are, for example, on the language. Although we do a promotion in different countries, in the different target countries in the language of these countries, the application must be in English. This is an obligation that the Commission wants us, so make sure that your application is in English. If you want to use a service provider, make sure that already at the moment of the application, you will have to submit it to us, the quotation from this innovation stakeholder. If not, you can't decide later on to integrate a service provider. You have to decide this now and also already provide this quotation. I already told you the service provider must be an innovation stakeholder. You also will need to clearly identify the challenge and topic you are working on, because by doing this, you will fall into one of the different groups that will be evaluated separately. And this is why we need really to tell us, this is where I want to participate in this challenge and this topic. You will also need to provide an ethic issue declaration that needs to be signed and submitted with the application. You find the template in the application guide and on the web, on the platform, on the Metabuilding platform. Please note this is an obligation of the Commission, and if you don't provide it at the moment of the application, your application won't be eligible. Here is the link to the applicant guide that you can find on the web. The application process and timeline. The publication date is already passed. It was on the 15th of February. The call opened on the 1st of March. And it will close at the end of May, on to be more specific, on the 25th of May at 5 o'clock Brussels time. Proposals that will be submitted afterwards are not eligible anymore. We are very strict, as the Commission is. You need to also, you have some reporting requirements to fulfill. You have to do a first post assessment and then a second post assessment later on. Here you have the link to the online application. Before being able to submit an application through our dedicated software, you need to register as a user of the Metabuilding platform. You will have also grow and harvest support. I already talked about the different tools to find a partner, to find maybe a existing technology you want to build upon, or to get innovation support by innovation stakeholder. You find this on the platform. Yeah, here again, you have this on the Metabuilding site where you can check information on other partners. And you will have the possibility to get innovation support. This is the innovation support in France, but there is also some innovation support you can get in English through the Metabuilding Grant Secretariat when you send an email to this email address. This is all from my side. I hope I have been able to clarify your questions, but don't hesitate to come back to us if you need help and support. Thank you very much. And I'm open for your questions. Dear Nerea,